Hey, what's going on, everybody? Livestream iOshi style. Wednesday, March 23rd. I see the Qs are in here. Hey guys, what's going on? Good to see you guys. Hope you're doing good. How are you? How is everybody? Well, hope you're doing good. Bravo can't be with us today. He's on assignment. He's got a big project he's working on. So I'm gonna make some adjustments here to the charts, but yeah, hope you're doing good. Just wanted to I did kind of a lengthy video yesterday, and well, let me turn my volume down, and there we go. And we can cover that, but if you have any questions or want to look at stuff, we can look at that too. Interesting what we're seeing today, and we'll cover it, but we'll kind of let people get in here, but if anybody wants to join. But let's take a look at I want to show you guys something on equities last night. So let's take a look at that. S&P last night. Oh, this is a little bit of a kind of a scratch, right? But I want to show you this. Check this out. So I have a trading friend. Hey, Baba, what's going on? Hey, good to see you. So what I want to show you kind of a setup, a trade setup that I have a trade friend of mine, trading friend that pretty actively trading futures, and so we chat a lot, we talk a lot, and we were into close yesterday. Obviously, equities had. Let's start with the daily on the chart. So obviously, since last week, right, equities had run, and we were basically looking for a turnaround at some point. And it was obviously, we had long signals coming off the bottom. You can see it even here, right? So we had signals to go long. So we were long last week, but we were also assuming that this wouldn't run forever, right? So looking for a turnaround, and that's not the fib I was looking for. Let's do that. Anyways, we got above the 0.5 up here. This was interesting because it kind of stopped and then it went again. And then yesterday's candle was up. And I want to walk you through some signals yesterday and then last night. So kind of what's interesting, kind of what I was looking at. I think this will help. If we keep doing this and we keep hitting this, at least, when I see a chart, when I look for trade setups, etc., this at least will help spur ideas in your head on looking at a chart, looking for breakdowns, looking for setups, looking at when to go long, when to go short. And even I believe that even if you're not into day trading, even if you're not you're not interested in getting into that, whatever, it's fine. That's great, because it takes a lot, and it's a lot of work, and it takes a lot of psychology, mindset stuff. Following your own rules is a big one. And but anyways, my point is, I think the more that we hit this, and the more that I can just show you what I'm looking at, what I'm seeing, the setups, the trades, what I'm finding is the more I do this, the more that when I zoom out and look, say, at a big chart, it's just that obvious, right? So it's just like, I'm looking at 1 hour, 5 minute charts, low time frame stuff. And it just really helps when I zoom out and look at a daily or weekly chart. I'm like, nope, I'd go short here. I'd go long here. I'd go long because I'm doing it daily, right? So I'm doing it daily. I'm doing it. I'm learning. I'm building that skill for the future. And by doing that over and over and over and over, I think it helps set up for the future. When we get into situations where, say, cryptos run again and everything's hot, and we get chart breakdowns, I'll be like, no, I either go short or I liquidate here, right? So that's kind of my purpose or my intent in showing all this to you. But let's look at this, because we had, let's see, this is the 1 hour S&P. This goes back to March 14th. So this is kind of the start of the run last week when we came off the bottom. Man, everybody on Twitter was, I sold everything. I'm in all cash. We're going to zero, right? Well, what happened was, look, I'll show you guys the setup. Let me make sure you can see this. This is kind of spread it over here. Well, let me adjust my screen real quick. Okay, and then I'm going to go, let me pull this over real quick. Whoop. Sorry, bear with me, guys. Okay, check this out. So, when we had, coming off the bottom, right, where I was watching and waiting for a bottom or a reversal. So what you can see here, look at two things. I always look at price and RSI, right? It's price coupled with the relative strength of that price. So what I do is, and my whole system is, I buy on oversold price action that shows signs of strengthening, right? I sell on overbought or hot price action that shows signs of weakening. And I'll show you, let me just walk you through this. Obviously watching price action, watching these bounces, etc. RSI here, this is the daily. Now my RSI setting is on 9, right? But here, the RSI was pretty cooked to the downside, right? So you're looking at a 15 or 16. It just tends not to stay there forever, right? So statistically, you know that you're out there. Trades from, I call this mid-range. Trades from the mid-range are a lot less confident, in my opinion, or in my experience. Trades from the mid-range are a lot less confident than trades from the outer bounds. Okay, so when you see a setup like this, let's go back to this. I'm going to walk you through it. So the RSI cooked, right? Okay, so the whole iOshi system is predicated on like a break and break system, right? You want to see a trend break. So we saw a trend break in both RSI and then a trend break in price here, but it wasn't enough to get it from the oversold region up to the overbought. See how it did a mid-range reversal? So here, kind of hovered mid-range, and then it fell back. Okay. So when that happened, what we saw was a higher high on higher RSI. And you can either do lower high on higher RSI, which is like a different type of divergence, but we won't get into that. Anyways, so looking at this, right? You had this RSI that was cooked. We came down here, price made almost a double bottom. Price bounced here on the, say 30, what do I have it at, 30? RSI bounced from 30, and then this was right here was when I went long, okay? So you break, again, you break trend on price, and you break up on RSI. That's a signal for me. And the 1 hour is pretty good. So this was the signal for me to go long right here. So it wasn't, I know everybody, I saw some people even saying, oh, I'm going to wait for the moving average cross or whatever, which is way up here. So they missed all this price action, right? And so anyways, the long signal occurred here. I think that was Tuesday last week, and we rode it all the way up. It was a little tricky here because you broke down and then you reversed off the 50. So I was out here and then I actually got long again. I think I missed most of this, but I was out here, reloaded, got back in here, and then just sat in it and rode it and said, I'm going to sit in this thing until trend breaks, and rode it all the way up here. It does get a little tricky. So when we get into some of these things, it gets a little tricky on these reversals. And I think the key is, you guys brought up a great question. This is a while ago when you asked if we would have caught the, I think it was 2017 run when it ran up and then reversed and ran up again. Kind of like this happens a lot. You have a fallout and then you reverse and then you come back up and you don't actually, what I would call, reset, right? So you don't go from one extreme to the other. Kind of like here, we didn't go from oversold to overbought. We went to the middle of the range and reversed. But you see it both in price and RSI. So see, like, you can start to draw these and say, okay, we fell off that, trends changing, etc. It can get a little hairy, but the higher time frame you work with, the more confidence you'll have, right? So, kind of back to this. So got back long here, rode this. It was a trend that did not break. This is like 2 or 3 days. Trend did break here. RSI fell off the top. You kind of broke through the moving average and down through here. Then we reversed again. We blew off again, and then up into here. This was yesterday. Yesterday was a little tricky, I'll be honest. This is the 1 hour. We can look at a 5 minute, but basically this breakdown reversed, and then this was right after morning close, I'm pretty sure. After breakdown into the, I would say late morning, moved up, kind of chopped around a little bit, and then threw off into close. And then this was late last night, because we're trading futures. Actually, I have to look at the futures chart, but anyways, at the top here, let me show you what happened last night. Let me see if I can pull up a futures chart. No, this will be delayed right here. Okay. So this is the 1 hour chart, but basically we were waiting for this signal, right? So again, this was pretty tricky. We caught this short here. We went short here, but we didn't get that or that, or that. So, and we also didn't reload here and go long because, and we talked about it too, because we're helping each other learn. But anyways, on the 1 hour signal, we were waiting for this last night, and we didn't get a breakdown until this happened at like 1 or 2 in the morning, right? So today it was like, man, what do we do? And we did get what I would classify as a buy signal because we broke trend and we broke trend here. But then again, it's like, how, is it going to be a trend, or is it just breaking, and kind of what happens next? So staying on top of it is a little challenging, but like I said, the higher time frame, the more confident you have, the more confident in your signals you'll have. So yeah, that's interesting. Just some trade stuff. But structurally, what I think is interesting, let me show you guys. What we're seeing is, now that's Bitcoin. I have it top and bottom. Here we go. Bitcoin's on top. Bitcoin's on top. Futures on the bottom. So they are tracking pretty well. But honestly, I was expecting a little bit closer track. But we got the push up here, and then the fall off, and then we are tracking together. So equities are under a little bit of pressure right now. Bitcoin's under a little bit of pressure, but it's moving up. But that's what I wanted to get into today was we can look at Bitcoin and how it's looking, the signals, etc., and then we can look at some alts. So that's cool. And then if you guys have anything you'd like to see, drop it in the comments. We can look at it. There are some alts that I think look really, really interesting now and haven't looked like that for a long time. So thanks for bearing with me on the trade talk. But that's really honestly what I've been up to a lot, is working on that skill and that craft, and it's working with your signals and your systems, and then adhering to your rules, and there's a lot to it. So that's that. But let's look at Bitcoin. What's going on right now? So you have, in the 1 hour, you have, the sell off. I would, kind of flashed a buy or a sell signal in here, but then price moved back up here, fell off. I'm working on this system. We did get a buy signal here, but then again, we're falling back. So let's just shrink that down. But yeah, we're chopping around today. But let's look at the daily. We go back to kind of what we had yesterday. We're under a little bit of pressure today, but I do think that I do believe that we're in a 3-3-3, and I do think that we do need to get past this level here. But we did make a higher high here, let's zoom in on that and see that close. It's 42,378. Okay, so the close on this candle was not higher than that candle. So that's interesting. But it was higher than that. So we're moving up. No, the close was higher. Look, the close was higher than the open here. The close. That's bullish. So we are seeing bullish signs. We're just chopping around. It's kind of a mixed day today. But we're seeing some interesting things in some of the alts. And I'll show you some of that. But, you know, RSI is trending up. We're chopping a little bit. You know, we're kind of range bound here, but we just need to get over. We need to see if we can break up through 45, 46, right? So we'll see what happens there. But, you know, we are moving up. What I like to do actually is you zoom out and start at the weekly. So we kind of come onto this weekly chart, right? And you know, we had a good weekly candle last week. This is a DEMA actually, which is a double EMA. I've actually been using it quite a bit. It's the double exponential moving average. There is an indicator, there's some math behind it, but it seems like a pretty good fit for trend. But see, now we are in a weekly candle above that line. So again, another kind of bullish indicator, but you have RSI strengthening off the bottom. The weekly RSI now is 58. Oh, I have my RSI dialed all the way down to 5 and 5, but it won't change that much. So RSI is coming in hot, or coming in nice and I would say nice and warming up. We are seeing, you know, signs of strength here. I would say, yeah, on the daily, it's a little bit of chop, but it's nothing too crazy, right? Let's see. I think what'll be interesting, and let's look at the fib where we are, because we mentioned yesterday, when you look at the equities, where equities are in their kind of recovery off their move, like the Dow Jones is at 0.5, right? Hey, CM's here. What's going on? Thanks for joining. Good to see you guys. Yeah, so Bitcoin is at the 236 on this move down, right? So Bitcoin has a ways to go. Dow Jones is at the 0.5. We can look at that. Let me see if I have it up. Well, I have futures up, but basically, let's see where, let's just draw a fib real quick. See that? We're above the 0.5 actually. So this is S&P, but equities have recovered above the 0.5. Now they're coming back to retest the 0.5, right? And there was a gap in here on the open hours. So I'm not sure if we've closed that yet or not. Anyways, kind of no surprise that we're just giving a little bit back. You know, this has been a really strong move off the bottom again. But my point here was equities have exceeded the 0.5 on the retrace. Now they're back testing or testing from the top side of the 0.5. Let's go back to, and then we'll look at the comparison. Look, Bitcoin's only at the 0.236. If Bitcoin were at the 0.5, it would be the equivalent of a 52K, what a 52K Bitcoin, right? So like I said yesterday, you know, Bitcoin has some catching up to do, right? So just where it is in the structure of the chart, right? It has some catching up to do. Let's look at this overlay. I want to show you this to you guys. And I guess it layered that fib on. But basically, see, look, equities really just moved off the bottom here. And they're all hanging together. They're giving a little bit back to today like we just saw. But Bitcoin is actually relatively strong into that. Although, you know, we're seeing a little bit of a sell-off here, couple hundred dollars in Bitcoin. So not much, really. But you know, so one of the big things, I think, you know, crypto is lagging equities right now. I think Bitcoin has room to catch up. It needs to get some liquidity or some love from equities, and you know, I think we'll see that happening when we look at back to Bitcoin. When we look at, say, the weekly chart, look, the RSI was reset down here, and we're moving up. Now RSI is above here. We just need to move above some of these levels. But you know, one theory is that we get more of a quick, I don't know how much you guys want to get into this, but kind of a quick move, and then more of a longer kind of actual retrace. So this is what I'm looking out for, is you know, we get some pop up in Bitcoin and alts, and then it cools off, and then we get more of a sustained retracement. And it may not be exactly like that, but basically, like, we might get a quick pump and then a cool off, and then one of these, you know. So that might be, although I do have some hopium charts. If you guys want to see some hopium charts, I have. Maybe we'll just look at one. So I didn't really have a lot, guys. You know, I did yesterday's update and we looked at some stuff, but then, you know, it was kind of hard for me to form, you know, kind of an idea what new to show you, because I don't have a whole lot. But I will show you a couple alts that look really good, in my opinion. So, anyways, this is where we are with Bitcoin. Weekly looks good. I think, you know, structurally, we need to break out of this sideways range in the bottom, right? So we need to resolve this range. Showed you yesterday Bitcoin Cash. So we're going to look at maybe some daily charts here, but Bitcoin Cash resolved the range, had a big day yesterday, and you know, and fell back today, but it popped out, and so it resolved. This is the daily chart, so it's probably 2-3 months worth of data. But okay, we'll get into some. I'm going to show you guys some hopium charts. It might take me a little bit of time to fabricate them, but we're going to do it. So anyways, Bitcoin Cash moved up. Good to see that. So what I was looking at today, if you guys want to see some what I think look good as far as alts, there's a couple that I was looking at today. There's Litecoin. Look, so I'm looking at things that are like finding strength off the bottom. And actually, I had volume on here, but maybe it's on another. Oh, it's on my E and J chart. Or here we go. It's going to Cardano. Cardano off the bottom. So let's let's back up real quick to Litecoin here. So I'm looking at alts that haven't, well, this one has moved up, but look, the volume's coming in on Litecoin. And you're starting to see some of these classics move, right? So, and then the other thing was SHIB hit like 2,500 again today. So watching that, now we are cooling off. It's just not surprising. Look at that volume right there. And that was an hour ago, right? So it's just, you know, we'll see if we can get a sustained movement in some of these alts. A couple things I'm going to show you on the hopium side. Right, let's go to, so if you look at the structure on the 2017 run, and we look at like, you look at like Ethereum Classic, right? So let's look at Ethereum Classic. We're going to have to zoom out to the daily, but let's look at Ethereum Classic. This monster move, kind of out of nowhere, but look at this volume. Oh, you can't see it, sorry. Out of nowhere, but look at the relative volume. So volume started pouring in right here, right? A good sign. I think, you know, I'm not sure if this, you know, what we did was we kind of came back up into this middle range. So don't forget that, okay? So we came back into the middle of this range. Okay. So that's kind of my theory or my thesis for structure. And for Ethereum Classic, if you go back, and this is on Coinbase, I think it has it. Yeah, okay. And I also had to set this on log chart, right? So, but let's go back and look in 2017, look in the past. 2017 and kind of remind ourselves what Ethereum Classic did. Okay, so what did it do? it ran from the start, called the start of 2017. It had a first move up into middle of 2017, then a cooling off period, and then a final blow off. This is the final alt season run for the alts. This is when Bitcoin topped late 2017. So alts had the early run, a cool off, and a final blow off, right? Okay. The point here is, let's look at the structure. Let's look at this area right here. So the idea is that a lot of alts are in the same area before the final blow off, okay? So a lot of these alts have this yet to do. That's kind of where we are in the cycle, if you will. Assuming that the top is in and assuming that alts have a final push, etc., right, guys? But basically, like, this is where a lot of alts are today, right? About right here. And with Ethereum Classic. Okay, so remember this structure if I zoom in. Remember what I just said? It had its first push up into the kind of this middle range. Look, it did the same thing in 2017. So, see this middle of the range here? And see this right here? So let's look at this. Let's move off the bottom right here. Pretty strong for 1, 2, 3, 4 days. It had a 1 day cool off, kind of hung out here, and then it really moved, and then it finally moved for for its top. Right, so remember that, and we're going to zoom out and we're going to look at current. So, and I think I can get this. Yeah, here we go. So watch this. I'm going to do something for you guys. Let me delete that. So basically, you see how the structure basically, from the top, you have initial fall down. This one kind of made a double top, and then it fell down to its bottom. And then it moved up, got rejected here, fell down. It's the same thing here. Down here, move up, rejected, back down, and then finally able to move up, right? So the thinking is that this structure is the same, and this goes for a lot of alts, right? So this structure goes for, where we are in the broader total 3 market, if you call it that. So the idea is that, like, Ethereum Classic made it to here, Ethereum Classic made it to right here, and has this left to go. Well, let's look. I want to show you 2 things. So one is, where is that on the fib, and where would that project on Ethereum Classic, right? So if you look at this fib down from the top back down up here is a 2272. And you're going to be a little bit surprised, I think, when you see where this goes to. If we go from the top to the bottom to the 2272, it brings Ethereum Classic in at $374. $374. Which is still about a 10x on Ethereum Classic, which is a little bit surprising. I know, but when I did the work, and I'm like, that's a big X, for whatever. But again, we have a pattern and a past to kind of give us some sort of, some validate or a basis, for that idea, right? So the basis for the idea is this structure is equivalent to this structure in 2017, and that we finish our blow off into if we get the 2272, that puts Ethereum Classic at 370. So, and not just for Ethereum Classic, right? This would bode well for a lot of alts, right? And for, I think, Total 3 as a group. And I think Bitcoin and Ethereum move up in a retrace, whatever. But, could this be the start of something? I think we keep going after it, right? We keep saying, hey, SHIB's going to go to the, moon and whatever. And one of these times we're going to be right? Because we're going to see it coming every time. We're going to talk about it every time it happens. Every time we get a pump like this, every time we get a move like an Ethereum Classic, and we'll be like, oh, okay, if this does continue, then we're going to say that always. So one of these times we're going to be right. And what's important is that, in my opinion, is that we keep doing this so that when it does happen, right? When say Ethereum Classic or largely the total 3 market cap or whatever alts run, then we're not surprised, and we're sitting here expecting these kind of things to happen, right? So that, for example, when SHIB say would run in the next 5 days to 8 or 9,000 or 10,000 or whatever, that we're like, okay, this happened. I've been waiting for it. Okay, here's my plan. Here's what we're gonna do, right? SHIB or whatever, ADA, SIA coin, Litecoin, right? So that's the idea, is to be prepared so that when it does happen, we've been watching, we've been waiting, and so that when it does happen, we can take action. Because I think we've all lived in enough of these, I can't remember who said it in the Telegram, but we've all lived through enough of these fake out pumps, right? Like, SHIB's gonna, no, all the way back down, or anything, right? So we've lived through enough of these. Just be ready, so that if if Bitcoin moves and alts move, be ready to take action. I am. That's my plan. Kind of covered it more yesterday, but basically, if we get a breakup and we get a signal, and I'll be look at where alts all are, then I might be taking positions off the market, right? So just for risk management, if this is the top, whatever, sell into strength, buy into weakness. That's my plan going forward. So let's get to the real hopium. Okay, I'm gonna have to fabricate this chart, but basically it is kind of a high side. I have a picture on here. Couple things. Yeah, I could show you that. Yeah, let's go to, we're going to look at what's called the BLX, or the Brave New Coin Index, and I should have it on here. Okay. The Brave New Coin Index, we'll take volume off. The Brave New Coin Index has all the data from all time. So this is most all the traded data on Bitcoin. So you can get Bitcoin back to 6 cents, right? So here we are in the grand structure. Let me see if I can get this, but basically this whole idea, and this is a possibility, right? That, and I won't be able to create all of the chart on here, but basically, hold on, let me fix something real quick. There we go. Okay. So basically you had, let me time mark some of this stuff on here. So you had top of that cycle, top of 13, top of 17, and then you have some top. Now, whether that's here or not, let's just, for this exercise, let's pretend this is not the end of cycle. I tell Bravo, guys, all the time, this doesn't really feel end of cycle, does it? I don't know if it's because institutions are in here, and it's just, everything's weighted down. Everything's so much more tied to equities now, kind of tied into the big trading algorithms, right? Just doesn't feel like end of cycle, like either 17 or 13, right? Where we rushed into the end of it, alts went flying and everything, and then it was just over, right? This wasn't obvious, right? Anyways, okay, so we have in each of these cycles, we have what I would call is a mid-period bull consolidation. Okay, so let me highlight this. So in here, you can see consolidation. Let me dial this back to see if you can, it kind of works. Let's go with that. Okay. So you have a mid-cycle consolidation period. Okay. And this one is, hold on. Here? I did steal this off the internet too, in case you're wondering. And then we have this. Okay, so the theory is, and then I have something else to add to this too. But the theory is that this, see how these cycles are getting longer? And we can measure them, but in each cycle, there is a period of consolidation before the final blow off. Okay, so let me switch back so I can see if you guys are making any comments. Gotcha, okay. All right, I'm with you. But, okay, in each of these bull cycles, there is a period of consolidation before the final blow off. And the theory here is that what we're in right now, the 64, 69, consolidation, blah, 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 blah. This is all, let me make this a little bigger so you can see it better. So each of these cycles has a period like this before the final run. And we had it in 2013. This was early in the year. We had a big fallout. A lot of people probably thought the cycle was over. You would think that. And then a final push up. And then in this cycle, we had two periods here. 2 periods, final push up. The theory or the thought process is this the 2 periods before a final push up? And let me see if I can get to, now people draw this a couple different ways, but basically, and I didn't come prepared, guys, not for this, but basically, let me show you where this would go to. I'm doing fib on a log scale. Well, we're just gonna do it. Not sure if I'm doing fib on a log scale very correctly here, but yeah, I think this is it. So basically, if you come up to like here on the fib extension, from here to here, this cycle ends here, right? Say it's 20. From here to here, this cycle would end here. And that's where people get 300,000. So this is where people will come up with 300K, is because when you look at the price and the expansion in each of the, or in the prior cycle, and let's look at 13 to 17 to see what it might be. Yeah, it might be a ratio. So see how this first cycle here, the expansion was far above 13 or 20. It's more like, say, 50. In this cycle, from peak to trough into the end of, say, this cycle in 2017, we got to around 20. And then the theory is we could go as high as 20 on the fib extension, right? So the whole theory is this might be mid-cycle. Just something to not just totally disregard. You know, when we even talk about, levels and whatever in charts, there's a chance this is in play, right? So there's a chance that we move out and we get our final move up. And it's like this. Basically, it doesn't have to come to this blue line. I don't know how I drew that on there, but basically, it could be a move like that, right? So you come out of this mid-range, and then you just blow off, and Bitcoin would go to, say, 300K, which would be crazy. But, that's how you get there. I don't know about that. I think if you're on log, you can't do a straight line. But anyways, that's how you get to 300K. Is that this is mid-cycle, and man, if this were to happen, you'd watch alts would just go, it'd go crazy. It'd go far past the rolled, the rolled highs, even back in this April-May timeframe, right? So I know like what XLM went to 80 cents back here, but if the whole market exploded up to here, XLM would go far past 80 cents, multiples past probably into the dollars easily, maybe double digits. I don't know. Right. But that's how you get there, right? Is that this is a mid-cycle kind of ending period pattern. So that's that. There is a fib channel. Let me see if I can, I'm just playing around here, guys, but basically, there's a fib, is it fib channel? Or is it pitch fan? Let me try fib channel. No. I've just seen some of this stuff. No, I don't think it's fib channel. But basically, I've seen fib channel. People talk about like the resting on the fibs and everything in an expanding market. I get all that. But anyways, so that is how people get to 300K. And it's all based on fib extension from prior period cycles. But then again, so there's the camp of people that are like tops in. There's the camp that say tops not in, right? So no one knows. That's the game, right? That's why, honestly, you just start to look at charts and you look at signals and you say, are we on the right side of the market, right? And that's what I go back to like every day. Are we on the right side of the market? Should I be in the market? Should we be long market? Should we be long these assets? Should we be short these assets? And if we don't have the ability to go short, then you shouldn't hold assets. But then you get into, like you saw a little bit of the intro stuff, right? Into that tradey game, that tradey mindset is, okay, you got to be on top of it because it can move and you can flip from long to short, short to long. So, for by and large, everything I have is just long term, waiting for things to resolve, right? So that was the hopium. What have you guys been looking at? Do you guys want to see? Let's start to look at some alts. And we're on the weekly on logs, so. But look, everybody swore off it. I mean, like, well, a lot of people swore off ADA, whatever, sub $1. I saw people saying like, take it off your watch list, right? But here we are. It's bouncing back, and weekly RSIs we broke out a trend. So what I was looking at earlier was, yeah, KDA. We'll look at KDA for sure. What I was looking at earlier was, you get a lot of these, right? And you get a lot of these, like these moves out. And, like even back here, look at this one. Oh yeah, where it's going to be? Oh, all the way back. When do you know that that's, and this is weekly, so this is 1, 2, 3 weeks. This is 3 weeks worth of a price action, right? But when do you know that you're doing this? And when do you know that, well, you don't know for sure. But what I would say, and what I'm looking for, is when this breaks, right? If we get a move up substantially in alts, say Bitcoin breaks above, say 46, we move up, we start getting chart breakdowns. That's when I'm getting defensive. And yeah, let's look at OMG. So let's look at KDA first. OMG is looking good, 510 or something, I think. It broke 5 today. KDA is at 622. Okay. Man, KDA. Let's look at volume. Okay, we're not seeing anything yet. Well, let's flip around because we didn't look at Cardano volume either. Okay, so Cardano didn't have huge volume. Not yet, this is weekly. Right, so it needs to kind of, there it is. There's Cardano on the daily. See, the volume did come in. Much higher volume on this breakout. Which I will also note that Ethereum Classic, the day it broke its downtrend, it started moving up quickly. And I know everybody hates on trend lines, but I keep saying that, but nice volume on Cardano. Let's switch back to KDA. Here we go. Okay, not seeing it yet. Okay, so Gonna need to see this. I think we're gonna have to break out of this range. This reminds me a little bit of T-Fuel, because we looked at T-Fuel yesterday. It's kind of hanging out. It hasn't really got it yet, but doesn't mean it won't happen. Doesn't mean it won't come. Like you just saw in ADA, we're seeing Cardano, Ethereum Classic, Bitcoin Cash, even Litecoin's moving up. You're seeing, what else? What am I thinking of? Dash was up a little bit. We looked at that yesterday. So you're seeing some of these classics, some of the most beat up charts get liquidity and start moving up off the bottom. I think that, that's a good sign for me, or for us to see that, right? At least, like I said yesterday, at least just liquidity coming into some of these assets versus just more bleeding on the chart, or more red sideways, or little teeny candles. So we're not seeing it yet on KDA. Not to say that we won't. I think this is all the chart. Let's see how far back we go. And this is, well, it's Bittrex. It probably has all the data, but man, look at this run. So this was in 2021. I haven't looked at this in a long time. But look, man, this thing has already run. It's already up 100x. Is that right? 110,000%. Holy cow. Yeah, it's already had a monster run. So what I would do is I would put this, for me, in the category of get what you can get. What that means is that if we get a retrace, or if we get a move, we get our expected move back up, we get liquidity flush back in here, KDA may not make a new all-time high, right? Just be ready for, it might not. So when the broader market is gets up there and looks toppy, this may not make it. And granted, that's a nice, healthy, even to that level would be like a 3x, right? But it may not just shoot to the moon again. I'm not sure. Like a lot of these projects that have already pumped that hard, I don't feel as confident that they'll do that like I do in some of the classics, right? And I know I've kind of come around full circle on that too, because I used to be like, oh, Bitcoin Cash will never run again, whatever. But to see that kind of early move here, kind of the leaders, is promising. So that's KDA. Not seeing it yet. We need to see some liquidity come in there. We're going to look at EOS, XRP, OMG. Yeah, check this out. It was a little bit, yeah, there we go, off the bottom. OMG, boy, this was, yeah, $20. Down to 340. Finding strength again. Look, notice RSI is up. I think this is my 9-9 chart. Okay, so the RSI is, I have it dialed to 9 intervals, but you're seeing some strength. Good to see that. So OMG, put that in the club of these kind of early movers. So what's interesting is you're seeing like OMG, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum Classic, even Litecoin. We'll look at XRP too. That's what I showed you guys. I think it was yesterday. So you're seeing OMG. Let's look at EOS. Haven't looked at EOS in forever. EOS is 246. This is another one that, man, it's just, I mean, in April, May of last year, it did get up to $15. But look, it hasn't. Back in 17, it got up to 20, remember that, $20. I remember being in this trade from like 50 cents down here. And then, boy, that was sweet. But then, yeah, back here, it's just curling up. So we'll see. Let's zoom out on the weekly chart on EOS. Okay, this is cool. It's good to see that. See this RSI off the bottom? It's reset now. And if you listen to my spiel on kind of day trading, whatever, at the beginning, I talk about like the best trades are when you go from one end to the other, what I look for, especially in the lower time frame. But RSI is reset. Now we're bouncing off the bottom. That's a good sign. It doesn't mean for sure that this continues and goes forever, but that's a sign of strength. That's what we want to see. I buy that on the low time frame stuff. That's what I wait for as a breakout. Break a trend, go long, just like this. if this were called like a 1 hour chart on something, I'd be sitting here saying, okay, like if you're short or if you're whatever, you're waiting, like I'm not buying, I'm not touching this thing until I know that this, or I have better confidence that this trend is broken, right? So for this, you just sit tight until this breaks. And yeah, you guys can see that. Here we go. Okay, so you just sit tight until you get strength. And this is what I'm talking about when I say, like, if we get breakdowns or whatever, and I take positions off the market, I'll wait for strength. And this is what that means. Again, this is the weekly chart. So I'd be looking more like a daily or maybe 4 hour or something like that. But basically, like, you sit and wait until you get confirmation of a trend breakout and RSI break. It doesn't, the RSI does not have to reset all the way down here, but you just want to see this downtrend reversing back to the upside. So I'd wait, and that's the candle right there. So if you're watching EOS, your buy signal was last week right here at like probably $2 or so right on the breakout. Right, so solid support around 6 on, oh, KDA, yeah, I agree, because that was basically just flat line. You're just flat and waiting for, and we look at the RSI is the same. It's just waiting for direction. So, you know, good level support there. Don't want to see that break down. XRP and Casper up. Okay, yeah, let's look at XRP. I am long XRP. I'll look at SHIB back down to, yeah. Whoever said it, but SHIB, we need the SHIB prayer. Come on, SHIB. It's just 1 hour. But look, we're just moving around. I'm thinking the equities are still probably under pressure and might be under pressure, but man, it's like every one of these pumps, right? Every one of these moves just gets sold off. And one of these times, it's going to be where it doesn't get sold off and it keeps going. And that's what we're waiting for, right? Well, that's what I'm waiting for. Okay, so that's, I know we didn't come here for SHIB, but okay, XRP. Let me zoom out because I put this on the video yesterday, but basically, like, and I shared this, I think, in the Telegram, but basically, take volume off. See this pattern? I just noticed this and I was like, that looks just like that. And let me move the fractal over. But basically, this pattern, look, once it eclipsed this high right here it was 64 cents. When it broke 64 cents, it was just on the way, right? So this looks, and I'm just looking at it, expecting us to resolve upwards at some point and to move up, to make a move with alts. You know, I think once we get past this top right here, which is at about 92 cents. So at about 92 cents, once we finally can get up here and break this, I think it'll send, or it did last time. Right, so let me, if you didn't catch the video yesterday, this is what I would do. I mean, you can look at the fractal, but let's look at that. The fractal gets you to about 220, but I think my T1, my first target would be right here. Right here in the golden zone. We've seen it a zillion times. You know, when you break, especially if you break new high, come up here around the golden zone is kind of a good target. It may retrace back and then move up again. Ultimately, I think 7, 8, 9, 10 is in play. I'll show you where that comes from. Let's not blast all that. Let me show you where, you guys know where 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 comes in play, right? Right here. So if you take your fib on the last cycle, right, top to bottom, it's the fib extension. So 789 is 2618, and it's been a little bit of time because I can't remember exactly why we came to the 2618 conclusion. It may have been a prior period. It may have been from here to here was a 2618. So here, let's look at that. So 4236 is at $13. That's 13. So if XRP somehow finds a way to create, blow off, create a new cycle, and it may not be in this first push, right? So let me show you guys an idea of how this might play out. And I'm going to need a little bit of blank space for it. First, let's check the 4236 on this, and then I'll kind of walk you through another theory or idea of how the alt season might work. With a prolonged period of Bitcoin retrace. Okay, so this was the prior, notice this was 2017, and we looked at that, remember the grand cycle, kind of that mid-range or whatever of 2017. Alts moved pretty fiercely early 2017, and then, that's not it. See, look, that far eclipses, I think that goes to the 13 fib, not quite. So that price action goes far beyond the 4236. Okay, I'm gonna have to figure out how I got to the 4236 for 13. But anyways, that's what it is. Because it's a common target, is the 4236 from a prior cycle. So you go from top to bottom, and then you project upwards, and getting to the 4236 is a common target. But you can go past it, right? So okay, let me show you guys. This is an idea of how this might play out. Not to say that it has to, but let's just I guess we'll delete all this. Okay, let's just say that I think this has a likely chance of happening. Okay, so in the next, call it 30, 45, 60 days. Okay, say 45, maybe, what is it? Man, it's March 23rd already. Maybe into May. So let's give it 45-ish days, so into May. Let's say that XRP unleashes, and we fly here to the 1618. Okay, so that is kind of this first move. Then, and we've seen this 1,000 times on different alts, right? We'll go back to, like, I think it was CRV. We studied hard on kind of its moved out and how it's transversing its cycles or whatever. A lot of the times, and it doesn't have to come to this golden zone, but let's just pretend it does. Let's just say that it does, has a chance to. So what I'm going to draw for you guys is an idea that basically we go to, say, 13, and I know there's a lot of other spec on XRP that it goes to a lot, but for now, let's just stick to the chart. And okay, so this is how I think this would play out. Now I have XRP on the left, and I'm gonna draw Bitcoin on the right. And I know I could do it side by side, but basically, like, okay, Bitcoin from 69, kind of doing one of these, and let's say we get, okay, hope this makes sense. And I'll label this so it's not so, I always do Bitcoin in blue. Bitcoin in blue. Okay, so this is 69K. This is what, 33, 34. This is that 46 level. Call it like I think that's drawn pretty well. This would be like initial push one, maybe 50K, something like that. Anyways, maybe this is up to the 60. So the theory is that possibly, I hope this makes sense. If it doesn't, you guys let me know in the comments so I can make sure I'm making sense here. But basically, the theory for me would be this. I'm just preparing myself should this play out like this. See how this works, guys? If And we're not, this is not the Hopium 300K case, right? Because that would be, I mean, blow the doors off, right? I don't know. But this is like the Bitcoin, the top is in at 69K. We get this longer retrace, but it has two lobes. One is kind of this initial push. And that's where I think alts could get a first move. I think we might be starting to see it. And this might even be quicker than 45 days. So we might get a push here, and then a cool down period, and then a final push up into the final, like, however you want to do this, right? 702, whatever, right? Say that, pretend that's the 702, something like that. So I hope that makes sense. In my mind, I see that as likely that it could happen. You know, that we could get action where, yeah, Bitcoin gets a nice pump soon. Alts flush with it. They don't really go way high. I mean, again, XRP may not. Don't just be ready. This is the thing. XRP may not make a new high. This is $3, right? That's a lot. Like, XRP may just push up here. Maybe it comes back and it goes above here. Maybe it goes to, I think $2 was the first target or something like that. So there's a case. Let's not get too crazy with it and say it has to go to 3, but it could also be like this, where you have more of maybe a push up, and then a cool down period when Bitcoin cools down, and then a final push up. The whole point is what I'm thinking is that it's almost of, regardless of where, and this is like what I have to keep reminding myself, regardless of where the alts are over here, my eyes are on this. My eyes are on what Bitcoin's doing, because if Bitcoin runs up and then it tops and then it breaks down, I don't expect any alts to do well, and I think all of the alts will cool down until Bitcoin can find strength again. So my game plan for all alts would be, watch this, they move up on strength, Bitcoin tops, ranges sideways for it doesn't have to be very long, gets a breakdown, we get a clear chart signal, say on the daily, that's an exit signal for me. And at that point, no matter where my alts are, no matter where XRP is, if XRP is $1.50 or $3 or $2 or whatever, for me, that's an exit condition, and I will wait because I believe that this is in play, right? So I hope that makes sense. That's just my plan. Hope you guys have a plan too. That's the idea that I formulated, how this kind of could play out, and yeah, I could absolutely be wrong, right? This could just turn right around. You just have to be on top of the charts, right? But I am not wanting to sit in a long, drawn out period of red anymore. So I'm going to take gifts from the market as they're given to me. Hope that makes sense. So that's XRP and my thoughts on Bitcoin and how alts could respond favorably with a Bitcoin push out. Obviously not to scale here. I apologize for that, but that's my thinking of what to watch for. Watch for a breakdown if we get a push out. Watch for breakdown. Watch alts. If this does break down, I don't think alts do any better. I'm probably out, sitting sidelines, because I think a retrace is going to take it probably a few weeks, and then we might get a longer move back up to a retrace. So we see a lot of buyers of XRP and Casper on uphold for weeks. Yeah, I think XRP is being accumulated. I think the expectation is that the SEC settlement is going to come to conclusion. Although I've heard that, it'd be interesting to hear what you guys think, but I've heard that on timing, people are saying that it might not be till August or September, right? So, which might line up with that. We might get a push because it's moving up with Ethereum Classic and Litecoin and Bitcoin Cash, kind of getting some liquidity. Bitcoin stalls out, alts fall back, and then boom, maybe later, maybe end of the summer, into the fall, we get a SEC news on XRP, and I honestly believe that ignites, that could ignite the entire space. You know, with the SEC against XRP is settled, I think it's a green light for alts to fly, and probably Bitcoin too. And who knows what else is going on in the world at that point. Let's check back in on futures. No, this is delayed. Okay. 5 minute. Low time frame stuff, guys. A little bit of bounce. Back here to 44.56. Is that the gap level? I don't have the gap level in here. But we are trying to find a floor. Again, RSI came down here. We bounced. We broke trend. We broke trend. Can we hold it? That's the question, right? When do we finally turn around? And I don't know. We'll see. Here we go. Bitcoin and futures 1 hour chart. Okay. So like Bitcoin is stabilizing. So we kind of had to move up. These are $300, $400 candles. So it's not huge. We're just chopping around up here. I think waiting for equities to resolve, waiting for equities to find this. I think we get one more push on equities. Back to, like I said, Dow Jones 35K. Back on the fib. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see. What else, guys? We need the SHIB prayer. I think we need the SHIB prayer. I've forgotten how the SHIB prayer goes, but what is the SHIB prayer? How does the SHIB prayer? No. We'll have to dig up the SHIB prayer. All right, let's look at SHIB. Let's see. This is, yeah, ETH Classic. Let's see, what is it doing today? It's just selling off. I mean, we've had such a big move. It's cooling off. But again, remember, like we showed you guys, or what I showed you guys, remember back here? If, right? If this is that, look, there was a cool off day right here too. Right here. See that, after that move, cool off, and keep moving up, and then pow, 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 pow. So hopefully that's it. And ETH Classic drags up, XRP drags up. Now I'm not sure how this idea matches with like a double lobe, right? So if I'm saying that this is following that fractal to end of cycle, but also I just showed you on XRP how it might go golden zone, retrace, and then say to 13. I guess I don't really know, right? But I'm just painting different ideas, right? For what might happen, right? So we'll have to wait and see, right? We always have to wait and see. But that's why I say what I say when I talk about just going back to the chart. So all this stuff, all this projection, you see 1,000 people on Twitter saying this, the other 1,000 saying that. What I do every time is I say, oh, okay, time out. Where are we? Let's go to the daily chart on Bitcoin. Okay. What do we see? What's price doing? What's strength doing? Those are my indicators. This is how I do it. Start the day. Okay. What happened last night? Okay. And what's going on? Where are we? Have we broken any new levels yet? No. Have we made any higher highs? Yes. Have we closed higher high? Yes. What are equities doing? Blah, 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 blah. And I just go to here and I say, now we did poke up and we fell back in, but we are kind of pushing upwards, if you will, in this area. So, what is that looking like? Is this going to hold? Are we going to climb up here? Are we on the right side of the market? For today and for this, I believe we are on the right side of the market until we're shown otherwise. And hope that makes sense. But until we get like a sell signal, right? What would a sell signal look like? Let's look at that. Well, we had one here. This was pretty clear. This was not so clear. And let me show you that. because let me show you this buy signal here. It's pretty easy to spot, right? Break trend. I don't know, so whatever. I think it was right in here somewhere. Anyways, once we confirmed the breakout, I think it was on the big candle because it was about right here. We break RSI, precedes price, price comes up here, we break trend. Okay, that's a buy signal. Then we get a higher low, so it actually falls back, right? But before that, we had this. We'll see on the price how it broke down and how RSI came into 75 on the daily and then broke down through 65. That right there would be a sell signal in my book, right? As that's a long or buy signal, that's a sell signal. So these are a little bit harder when you don't really get much time below here. When you just kind of peak and pop, it's still valid. So you pop up, break trend, long, right there. All right, we're long. Okay, here, this was a little bit more challenging because we didn't really, we didn't have much time at the top, and we didn't really go over and overbought, right? So it wasn't like this and a drop. Those are easy. This was a reversal here, here. So what would this look like? Let me just do this. What would a sell signal look like? That's a great question. Let's say we come up here and we're able to get above 46, and say we go to like 50, I think it was 55, maybe this level. Either here or here. Okay, so let's say we get to one of these levels, and let's say price comes up here, which would be a pretty big move, right? And let's say we consolidate there for a couple days. RSI would look like this. It would get real hot, run into here. And then if this consolidation breaks down here, and we do one of these, more of a longer term, like a longer retracement, if that's the case, and we break down from here, let me make sure you can see that, you would see it here. And I would draw it like this. And if that breaks down, you have a price break, bottom there of that consolidation, and your RSI breakdown is either here, or you can wait till 65. That is a sell signal in my book. That's an iOshi system sell signal. And what I would wait for is I would wait for either, I'll move this over so you can see it. I would wait for either a reset of RSI and a build up, or it might be mid-range and a pop up. Either way, and I appreciate you guys dealing with all the lines. Either way, I'd wait for this and wait for that. So that's my exit signal right here. Exit, this is my entry. Enter. Well, that makes sense. So we'll have to see what happens here. We are, yeah, down 200, just chopping around. We had a good day yesterday. That was nice to see a new high. RSI was poking up there, so with the red candle today, it's down. We'll see how we close, I think in about 5 hours. But again, this is what an exit for me would look like if I see that. Kind of like this. See this? Kind of like up at the top. Now you broke that trend. You didn't just come straight down. Actually, look. You came up here and you double tapped. Almost a, I don't know how to describe it, but basically like you have two lobes, right? This gives you another chance. So there's the first signal. This was the second. You could draw it, I don't know, whatever. Basically, like, you have one signal here, and you're falling down here. So you have another signal here. So those are your get out signals. And then your get back in signals are the reverse. So a lot of times your bottom, like we looked at that, your bottom will look like that. And either I mean, it can be all three, right? Basically, price will be a lower low. And you just wait until you get confirm breakup. Like that. So that's what I'm looking for. But again, this is what I would see. This is what would get me to get out. Is if I see this and then a breakdown, okay, I think we're doing a step down. Now it may not be, that's the thing. It may not be that we do this. You could get one of these, you break down and you're quick and you're back up, right? So we're gonna have to be on our toes, but watching for it. But these things tend to happen, you know, on the daily chart. It normally take at least a couple, 3 days to kind of turn. And so we'll be on top of it for sure. But so that's my game plan, guys. So we'll see. Let's fly around the world one last time. And if you guys have any questions or anything, let me know. But we'll wrap this up. Shiv's at 2400, back to 2400, just bouncing around today. Come on, Shiv, let's go. All right, we'll see how that goes. Let's see what else. Big movers. This is a, I don't even know what this is, but it's on Coinbase. REC, REQ. Not sure what that is. Good day today. LRC is up 35% today. Look at that, another big day. Go to the daily chart. Look, it's off the bottom. It looks a lot like ETH Classic, you know, with its kind of a big move. Let's see, what else is kind of moving today either way? 15, ETH Classic, yeah, it's cooling off from its move. Let's see, what else? Axe Infinity up 9%. It's another one. Let's look at Litecoin real quick. Because we had a 5% day yesterday. And yeah, RSI crested above 70, but nothing too crazy. Just moving up. It's just red with the rest of the market. We'll see. Akita, I think, follows SHIB. Oh, well, back to Cardano. I don't think we looked at this too much, but yeah, Cardano. No, we did, I think. But yeah, nice move up. Yeah, this is where everybody kind of took it off their watch list at $1, right? And then put it back on. So yeah, put Cardano in the list. Oh, we didn't look at T-Fuel. All right, let's look at T-Fuel and then we'll wrap it up, guys. This was the one that reminds me of, well, actually it has a little bit more range than KDA is pretty flat. But see, like you have, doesn't that look like XRP last few days? A drop and then this 45-degree wedge kind of bleed up. So let's see, let's watch this. I'm gonna make a prediction. My prediction is when T-Fuel passes 19 cents, I think it gets a nice bump. And let's see where that is. It kind of lines up with the 27th. So I think end of this month, maybe T-Fuel and like XRP would kind of pass this threshold. So let's see what happens. Just a total wild guess, guys. But yeah, if you know, with that pattern that XRP had, just interesting. But if we can get above 19 cents on T-Fuel, I think, and I don't think the game's over for T-Fuel. I don't think so. I just don't know about the upside potential. That's the thing. You kind of go back to it. This has moved so far up. You know, I don't know if T-Fuel can go unless maybe we get it, you know, maybe it does. Hey, it surprised a lot of people a lot of times. But yeah, we'll have to see. But hope that was a good live stream for you guys. It was good for me. I don't know how much extra stuff we rehashed. I was able to share with you kind of my exit strategy, my plan, my thinking, my logic. And then also my idea or my concept for how alts could do if Bitcoin does, you know, one of the couple things it could do. Obviously, there's the hopium scenario, right? It just goes straight up to 300K and everything just goes nuts. And then there's this double low strategy, right, where Bitcoin might go up and then have a fallback and then a final longer retrace to the end of the year. And then my plan is to trade the chart, really. Let's go back to the chart. Is Bitcoin giving us a sell signal after a strong move? Should I be taking alts off? what do the alt charts look like, go through that exercise. So that's it. Hope you guys are doing well. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Please like the video, appreciate it. And we'll catch you back in the Telegram or on another video soon. But hang in there. I think we're about to see some good things happening for us. And hopefully the next, I know we've been saying this for a long time, but hopefully in the near future, maybe 30 days or less. So, and go SHIB, and we will, or I will, and we will see you guys next time. Thanks again.